And Rambam learns he's speaking to God, not to the angel. So it makes a tremendous difference if a sofer is writing a Sefer Torah, and when he writes this word, he thinks that it means an angel, not God. He lost 50,000. The whole Sefer Torah is pasul. You listen to me? Yeah. But that's Rashi's first shot, that he's not speaking to God, he's speaking to an angel. But that's not the halacha, because the Rambam rules like Unkelus and Rashi's second shot. So tremendous difference in the halacha. The Sefer writes a Sefer Torah, when he writes Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, he has to think, no, it's not an angel. Otherwise, it's pasul. How do you say pasul in Spanish? Kaput. Pasul.
Invalid.
Invalido. Kaput.
I know a person in Milano.
Yeah.
A Sefer. He now lives in Spa.
Yeah.
He used to go in mikveh whenever he wrote the name.
Right. That's a chumrah. You don't have to do that. That's a chumrah. Right. But you do have to think, when you're writing Yud Kei Vav Kei Aleph Daled Nun Yud, you have to think it's Hashem, otherwise it's puzzle.
Does God need to wash his feet?
What?
Dalet.
No, Dalet is going back to the Malachim. You see, it switches here.
Okay.
So, Pasuk Dalet, he's back to the Malachim. You know what's going on over here? So he tells the Kodesh Baruch Hu, please wait for me, don't leave me. Here the Gemara in Shabbos learns out, Gedoylach nosas orchim yoter mikabalas b'nei Ashkina. You tell Hashem, please don't leave me. I know you came to visit me, but listen, I got to take care of some hungry orchim. So the Gemara in Shabbos learns from here that achnosas orchim is even greater than what? Receiving God's presence. So we learn from Abraham. How does he know? How did he know he's doing the right thing? We learn from him.
DNA.
What's DNA? How did he know? So Abraham knew that ain't shem mikra. There are no mikra. Why did the malachim come in the middle of God's visit? He didn't know the malachim. He thought they're strangers. Strangers in the night. Why did they come in the middle of God's visit? Why didn't they come before God's visit? Why didn't they come, David, after God? In the middle of God's visit, these guys happen to show up. And Abraham knows there ain't no such thing as what? Mikra. So if they came in the middle of God's visit, that's a sign that God wants me to what? Take care of them. Otherwise, they'd come before Hashem's visit. What a message in life. There are no mikres. So that's how he knew that Achnosas Orchim is greater. But that just begs the question, why is it greater?
When is it greater what?
Than receiving God's presence. Why is taking care of Orchim greater than God's? So Rav Soloveitchik says it's a twofer. Right? Because when you're taking care of Orchim, you're taking care of them and you're Mekabel Panei Ashkina. It's a double, right? Abraham knew that every human being has a Tzelem Elokim.
Shalom Aleichem.
Right? Shalom Aleichem in the plural. That every human being has a Tzelem Elokim. Pretty interesting, right? Why did he tell them to wash their feet? They're not coming into the house. They're sitting under the tree, right? So why do they have to? Because this table was a breakfast table. What?
It was dirty till 6 minutes ago.
Thanks to David, it's clean, but you want to go back? It's fine with me, but I think we have a nice window over here. It's fresh air, right?
Why did he tell them? You have to be very territorial here. If you give it up, what's going to happen? They're going to come in, they're going to eat on that table.
No,
they always eat on that table. That's the breakfast table. They usually clean up. They usually clean up after themselves.
This table's pretty disgusting, too.
They sometimes clean up.
Why did he tell them to wash their feet? They're not going to get there. He just vacuumed the carpet, David.
They came from the desert.
But they're not going into the house. That's what's bothering Rashi.
They're going to be
Stay under the tree. So right, Sovashem Aravim, he thought that they're Arabs, pagans, Shemishtachelim Lavak Vayleim, they bow down to the dust of their feet. V'hichbit Shaloi Hachtis Avodah Zarah Lebeisai. And he was makbid not to bring Getchkes into the house. But Yehuda, they didn't come into the house. I don't understand what Rashi is talking about. The pasuk says clearly he did not invite them into the house. You guys stay in the backyard under the oak tree. So what's Rashi talking about? He didn't want them to bring getchkes into the house, but they didn't come into the house.
So what is that?
The backyard is also his house, your property.
That's a good.
Your backyard is your property.
That's a good answer.
But what kind of stupid people worship the dust of their feet? What does that mean?
If they worship a wooden idol, what's the difference?
There's
What's
something
what's the
behind
pasuk?
it. That's such
What's the pasuk?
as crazy as it sounds.
What's the pasuk?
Pasuk 4 on page 46.
That's not. I want to.
18:4. 18:4. So the Mepharshim speak about it that the paganism is they worship the dust of the feet. I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't hear the song, David. I wouldn't know. All we are is dust in the wind. Who sang that? Come on. All we are is dust in the wind. That's the Boston. That's the pagan mentality. We're no different than dirt. Doesn't matter what we do. Be a low-life, immoral, no-good bum. We're just like dust in the wind. You hear the mentality, David? It wasn't so stupid idea. We're no different than dust. We are dust in the wind. All we are is stardust, so who cares what I do with my life? That's what Abraham was up against. Are you with me on this? I gotta write this down.
18:1.
18:4. 18:4, right? That's page 46, right?
Yes.
Page 46, verse 4. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. That attitude. Then it doesn't matter what I do. If it feels good, do it. That's what Abraham was fighting against.
Well, it's not such a simple thing to fight against because unless you believe in God, that's the answer to life, isn't it? Everybody says it, it's true.
Yeah.
And then the whole philosophy, unless you believe in life, why isn't whoever's stronger to write it and do everything you can to feel good if we're only here for a short time?
Okay.
Why is it not a reasonable attitude?
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that's what he was up against. Tachas ha'etz.
It's a hard road to convince people
Right.
that there's a God, believe me.
It's a difficult Rashi. Tachas ha'etz. What's bothering Rashi, David?
Because God goes out of his way to make it look like it's random.
No, but what does we have to say tachas ha'etz? And Rashi kvetches tachas ha'ilan. See Rashi? Tachas ha'ilan? What's bothering Rashi and what does he answer? So difficult sitz hacham and what's bothering Rashi. V'loy tachas eitz talush. Maybe he told them to sit under a gazebo. An eitz talush means a tree that's chopped up and made a gazebo. No, he told them tchois ilana. Have a beautiful oak tree in the backyard. Sit there, you'd be more comfortable. What's the deal here? I don't know what's the deal is. Tachas ha'etz, maybe it means a gazebo. How do you say in Italian a gazebo? Gazebo.
I think gazebo. I think gazebo is an Italian word, isn't it? Is it an Italian word to begin with?
So Rashi has to say no. It's a tree. So what? So what?
Here he says. Here that holds common in English.
It means he was living in an area where there were nice trees.
So.
Here's what he says.
Well, to make
here.
them comfortable.
Remember what it says
Yeah.
This does not mean beneath the wood, but tachas ilan, beneath
Right.
the tree.
Right.
Being taken, wood is here referring to the wooden beams of Abram's house. Whereas preceding comment Rashi mentioned, Abram took care that his guests washed their feet, not to bring idolatry into his house. But if that were the verse intention, it would not have been used in particular wording and recline beneath the wood. It would have said recline inside the house. Rather, eitz here means tree. Abraham had his guests recline beneath the tree because the cool, moist air beneath its boughs is refreshing to desert travelers. He wants to tell us that it's a tree. Be sure we know it's a tree.
But there's a deeper meaning here, David. What's a tree? What kind of tree? So what?
It's a chai.
What's GPS? Ki Adam eitz hasodeh. Abraham says, you see that tree? That's you and me. A tree gives off fruit. And a tree needs a lot of TLC to grow. That's a symbol of a human being. Human being has to produce fruit. and needs a lot of TLC to grow correctly.
No, that's
We are that tree, TLC,
Tender,
tender, loving care, to grow properly. And Oral says further that the tree is shaped like a human, the trunk and the branches. So Avram had more in mind than just a shady place. It's the idea that Ki Adam Eitz HaSodeh, the human being, is a metaphor for a tree, or the tree is a metaphor for the human being. Produce fruit, give off fruit, and give a lot of TLC to grow properly. Okay? But interesting over here, it looks like Lot is a greater Baal Chesed than Uncle Abraham. Abraham says, you guys stay in the backyard, I'll bring you your lunch, right? Later on, Lot invites them into the house. Looks like so why isn't Lot the role model of Achnosas Orchim? Why is that? Get a question that the Ramchal asks. Let's think about it. And why tell us? Later on, later on. Lot, come on in, right? I'll make you a nice feast. And Abraham says, hey guys, you stay in the backyard. I'll bring you out to dinner. And why tell? What's the message?
As you taught me many times, is that you have to have control over your chesed. That's why Itzhak is a Gevurah. You're not supposed to make love to your sister either. So
very good.
So therefore, he's got to protect his own family. He doesn't know these guys from Adam.
Beautiful.
So the proper, I'm turning over what you taught me. The proper attitude is that you should be kind to everybody, but take care of your family first.
Very good.
If you don't take care of your family first, the children grow up resenting you. What are you doing? What's going on? Why wouldn't you take care of me? You're so busy taking care of everybody else. I don't feel like I got anything. So the proper example is to show how he did it, is that it's good to be kind, it's good to be wonderful, but not at the expense of your family.
You don't know these guys from Adam. His wife is beautiful. He's going to invite him into the house. Maybe they'll molest her.
It happened to me Friday evening.
Make sure your chesed doesn't disturb your shalom bayis. Abraham taught the balance in life. Lot's chesed was wild. That's not the way a Jew goes. My chesed has to be goimel chesed. The word gomel means like from the word gamal, that a camel gives it not in one shot. Your chesed has to be balanced and controlled, not on the backs of your family. That's the balancing act in life. So Abraham is a role model, not Lot's wild chesed.
It's not exactly what happens here. Here everybody is welcome.
So what are you saying it happened to you?
I was a Friday evening,
Aaron, can you join us?
Somebody phones me. I'm a Jew here in Milano from Poland.
He got your number from somebody.
He got my number from somebody.
Yeah, and he wants to come over for a Friday night dinner.
Yes. He came. I made Kiddush. He was standing, and then I asked him, have a drink of the Kiddush. No, I don't want. And he slept in my place.
He what?
He slept.
Slept in your house, yeah.
But then he told us, because he spoke Yiddish.
Spoke Yiddish.
So I thought for sure he's a Jew. So he told me he's an actor in Warsaw.
He's an actor in Warsaw.
And in Warsaw there is still Yiddish performances.
So he had
and he had learned. And at the end, when he went away, he took something.
He stole something from you.
Something, yes. Not much, but nevertheless. But when he didn't want to drink the Kiddush,
yeah,
I was shocked.
No.
Why some people don't drink wine? You don't have to drink
No. No.
Maybe he was afraid because he was a guy. He didn't want to drink here.
He was a guy.
Yeah, a kluger guy. A kluger guy.
Dan lekaf zchut.
That's why you didn't want to drink. You followed the rules.
No.
You didn't want to mess you up.
See that?
So you had grape juice, you had wine.
It made it yain mevushal.
You had grape juice, you had wine.
Yeah.
Not yain mevushal.
Mevushal.
Maybe a devushal.
It was lo mevushal.
So he was smart. He
No,
had-
it was mevushal. What they say there is no mevushal in Milan.
There, it's the old notion.
It's all mevushal.
Amen.
Man, in one shot.
Right, like that.
Okay, show me arba koises.
So why 3 malachim? Why couldn't one malach do the job? Aaron, see page 46?
Everybody has a different role.
The malachim have a strong union.
Yes.
Page 46, pasuk bet. Bina shlosha anashim. Rashi, why 3? You see that? Aaron, page 46 bet.
Yeah.
Echad levasser Sarah, one to give Sarah the good tidings that she'll have a baby. Ve'echad lahafach Sodom, and one to destroy Sodom. Ve'echad rapot at Abraham, and one to cure Abraham from the bris milah. Shein malach echad oiseh shtei shlichos.
Why in this order?
Why in this order?
It should be the opposite order.
Well, the first thing was to tell Sarah the good news. That happened first, no?
No, first you heal her.
Well, he came to heal Abraham.
Yeah, okay. First you heal him.
You heal Abraham, yeah. So one malach can't do 2 shlichas. So what about the one who saved Lot? Isn't that a separate shlichus in curing Abraham? So there should be 4 malachim. Here, you know.
Yeah, I heard everyone said it before that they fudge it and claim you can do it.
So how do they,
It's the same class of work. If it's the same class of
Sifsei
work...
Chachamim asked Zion. The union won't complain. Look at the Sifsei Chachamim Zion. You see that, Aaron? Page 46, Zion. Sifsei Chachamim the bottom. L'kach lehavi gam malach revi. So he should have sent a 4th malach to save Lot. Even the ein malach echad oiseh shtei shlichos. So Rashi says, no, the union won't complain, Aaron. The angelic union won't complain. Yehuda ki refuah v'atzala chadu. Because curing and atzala is what? One mission. So the union won't be upset. The angelic union. Have a bam kasha. Kush Baruch Hu, there's one profession that God calls himself in the Bible. Ani Hashem Roifecha. God came to him. Why did he have to send a malach refoil to cure Abraham? God is the source of all refuah. And he came first. So why couldn't he cure Abraham? Why did he have to send a messenger boy? Iran, you hear my question?
That's a good question.
In the whole Bible, there's God, Ani Hashem Roifecha. The source of all healing is God. God comes first. So why didn't he heal Abraham himself? Why did he have to send a messenger? Refoil, you hear the question? Aaron, help me. You hear the question?
Yeah.
What's the answer? Give up? Give up?
Yes.
Well, God doesn't do really much himself.
God went to Bikya Cholim, right? So if God would have cured him, I would think that Bikya Cholim only applies to Dr. Marcus or Dr. Kildare. Remember Dr. Kildare? I'm dating myself. Dr. Marcus Weldy, MD. I would think God came back to Cholim. So God will cure him. I would think that Bikya Cholim is limited to a doctor.
Richard Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain. It's Richard Chamberlain, Lahavdil. Dr. Kildare. But if you're not a doctor, then maybe Bikya Cholim doesn't apply. So Aaron. So therefore, God purposely didn't heal him. To prove that Bikya Cholim applies to everybody, not just to Dr. Marcus. What's his name? Marcus Welby, MD. Remember him?
The story in the paper today, Richard Gere, he's 70, is having another child with his 35-year-old wife.
Really? Richard Gere?
Richard Gere, so they're going old timers.
Oh.
So 70 isn't too old.
70 is starting over. What?
Of course, you got to be Richard Gere.
You got to be Richard Gere, right?
With his money and his looks and his story, have a 35-year-old actress interested in him.
So that's the message here on. God purposely didn't cure him, because you would think then only a doctor has to do Bikya Cholim. But if you're not a doctor, maybe there's no mitzvah. So God purposely didn't cure him. That Bikya Cholim applies to everybody. And not just to a healer. You get it? You get it? Big mitzvah Bikya Cholim. Lavaket HaCholeh, it says, right? Yeah?
Who?
God came to visit Abraham. He was
So
sick.
one could think that only God was Mevakeh Cholim.
No, Balachta b'drachav, mahu afata.
Okay.
Balachta b'drachav, right?
So in this case, Rofecha is also not necessary.
Even if you're not a doctor, you still have Bikeh Cholim.
But so you don't need the angel for
So that's why he sent an angel to cure him.
No.
What no? To prove that
It says, Ani Rofecha, it was sufficient him.
Yeah,
but he
he's
purposely
trying to
didn't
say-
do it to
He's trying to
teach.
say he could have done it.
He could have done it, but he purposely did
Doesn't
not
do
do it to set the example that Bikeh Cholim applies to everybody, not just to Dr. Kildare. Before your time. You didn't get those TV shows in Turkey?
No, I don't.
No?
He's too young.
The reruns? No? Okay. The interesting, Aaron, take a look. It says on page 46. Pasuk bet. Vayisa, you want to read that, Aaron? 46 bet. Vayisa einav.
וירא והנה 3 אנשים ניצבים עליו. וירץ
L'kratam.
לקראתם מפתח האוהל וישתחו
Arza.
ארצה.
He saw 3 men nitzavim olav standing over him. That's what the text says literally. I wonder how they say that in English too. Nitzavim olav. 3 men were standing over him.
Well, as you said before, they translate as before him.
Before him?
Because,
But ask your Ulpan teacher, olav means over him.
but, you know, in the English
Unkelos says
translation-
over him. Unkelos doesn't fudge it. Come in aluhu. They're standing over him. What does that mean? But later on, look at page 47. Iran.
Omed Alechem.
Page 47. Which pasuk?
Chet.
Chet. Go ahead. Iran, please. Chet. Vayikach.
חמר
The chalav.
וחלב ובן הבקר.
that kosher?
עשה,
He took butter, milk, and meat.
ויתן לשניהם והוא עומד עליהם תחת העץ ויאכלו.
Then he stood over them. So first it says
Here
they stood over
here
him.
they translate over them.
He stood over them.
Yeah. An 8 they translate.
Vi omed aleihem.
Tachat is Alehem.
Vi omed, and he stood over them. So what's
Tachas
it?
is under.
Yeah, but it says who omed aleihem. He stood over them. It says who omed aleihem. So the question is, why in the beginning it says they stood over him, and now it says he stood over them? Iran. So the answer is a malach towers over a human being. Iran.
What's the matter? My phone is calling?
A malach towers over a human being.
I didn't touch it.
But after Avram did achnosas orchim, who omed aleim? Yiddish David. When we do achnosas orchim, we turn the tables on a malach. Now we tower over them. Isn't that amazing? Who omed aleihem? Through achnosas orchim, he towered over them. Before that, they towered over him. So a human being can become greater than an angel through the act of achnosas orchim. Why is achnosas orchim such a great mitzvah, Iran? Balachta b'drachav. What does balachta b'drachav mean? Walk in Hashem's ways, right? Who's the greatest machnas hareach? David, who? Krish Baruch Hu. Every day he invites us into his beautiful home, the world. So when we invite a guest into our home, who are we imitating? Whom? The big boss. Are you getting this? Every morning you wake up, doesn't God say, Lakasha, come into my beautiful home? What's God's beautiful home? The world. So when we invite a guest into our home, we're imitating him. And that's what we're here for. Therefore, Achnosas Orchim is such a great mitzvah. It's the ultimate v'halachta b'drachav. Mahu afata. We're here to imitate the boss. What's the word? Imitate or emulate? I think it's better. Emulate. V'halachta b'drachav. Mahu afata. So Rashi said that the Torah says Vayechelu, and they ate. You see that? Page 47 Chet, it says that they ate. Malachim need to eat. He gave each one a tongue. They must have been very hungry.
Good manners.
You know how big a tongue is from a cow? Let me see how big. They must have been pretty hungry. They haven't eaten in 130 years. What? I don't know. So Rashi said they made believe. Vayechelu. You see Rashi? Vayechelu, Pasuk 8. Nire kamosha achlu. They made believe that they ate. Mikan shelo yishanu adam min afinag. From here, we learn a person shouldn't change when in Rome, do as the Romans. So normally malachim don't eat, but when they come to earth, they follow minhag hamakom. See that? When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Well, even more so if they didn't eat, they'd write this.
Right, they were masquerading as what? As what? As human beings. Nachmanides doesn't agree with Rashi. He says when an angel comes down to earth in human disguise, he becomes human for that amount of time.
And he
proves it, and he has free will. He proves it. Because later on, they go on an ego trip. How could a robot have an ego trip? Can your computer have an ego trip?
If it's hell.
How? I wouldn't do that. Later on, you said they go on an ego trip. So you see, when they disguise in human form for that amount of time, they actually become human.
It's a good argument.
Huh? Right?
What was the ego trip?
Take a look. They have an ego trip. Rashi says later on, take a look.
You ask what ego trip means?
Ego trip.
You know what you ask what it means?
Yes.
Oh, ego trip is.
I know.
Okay, all right. So,
How could a robot have an ego trip?
Where did they have it?
Take a look. Stay tuned. Let's go there. Iran.
they said we're gonna carry.
Yeah,
on.
let's go.
They forget about God.
Look what they said over here. They said over here, page 52. Page 52. Actually, page 53. Pasuk Chav Bet. That's where Rashi brings it down. 53 Chav Bet. Arman, you want to read that? These are the Malachim speaking to Lot. Maher. The English word hurry. Maher.
Move.
Himalek Shama. Run over there, right? Run for your life. Ki lo ucha lasos davar. I can't do anything ad bayacha Shama until you come there. So look at Rashi, Chav Bet, 53. Want to read that? Ki lo ucha lasos davar.
זה אנשיו של מלאכים.
This is a punishment for the angels. What?
אז שאמרו,
They said,
כי מפחיתים אנחנו,
we will nuke the city.
ותלו הדבר בעצמם.
And they took credit for themselves. So now they were forced to humiliate. Lefikach lo izazu masham. Therefore they couldn't move. Achiskuku loymar. Till they got an SMS from upstairs. Sheina dova b'shusa. It's not up to you guys. Hey, you guys are robots, remember? How could they have an ego trip? So you see, says the Ramban, that when a malach assumes human form, he actually becomes human. Otherwise, they couldn't have this ego trip. How do you say in Turkish, ego trip? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Ego. You know, I'm big boss. Me, big boss. So now they had to humble themselves. Okay? Kilayucha, Loshen Yochid. From here you learn out that one destroyed the city and the other guy rescued the family of Lot, because two malachim cannot do one deed. Rashi already told me that, Yehuda. Why does he repeat himself? Rashi already told me in the beginning of the Parshah that the malachim have a strong union, and here he repeats it. He said, I cannot do anything, Loshen Yochid. From here you learn out that one malach cannot do two. He already told me that. You know? He says it again. Shein shnei malachim nishlochim l'rechad.
But he said Betzman, no Betzman.
That's why he was forced to say, he, lo yoshin yochid, that one malach cannot do two tasks. But you already told me that back in the beginning of the Parshah, why he sent 3. And Rashi repeats his comment. I don't know why, but Rashi does repeat his comment. There's an amazing Rashi here that Lot,
He was sitting over here because the other table was there, and they don't move back. I thought they should go
I was
back.
thinking about it all night, and it came to me in the morning. I answered the Chava's question.
Let me see. Now, wait a minute. It was,
But you probably forgot the question, but it came to me in the morning in a dream. Can I tell it to her tonight? Can we do the article tonight?
Yeah.
Is 8 o'clock good?
That's good.
8 o'clock is good?
Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and then coming in.
For Shalema. So 8 o'clock is good?
8 o'clock.
And then I can tell her the answer? I'm telling you, I think she'll like the answer.
Okay.
But I was thinking about it all night.
What was the question?
Hold that tiger, hold that tiger. The question was as follows. We asked, why was Abraham Rambo when it comes to his nephew,
All right.
but when it comes to his wife, he was a nebish?
Because he was out
How
of
do
the
you
land
say
of
it?
Israel. You said it many
So
times.
Rab Soloveitchik said, don't blame me, that it ties in with the Haftorah, Hanos shel Yoav Koach, that's only in the land of Israel. Where was Lot kidnapped? In Israel. So Abraham had Rambo. Remember Rambo, no?
Yeah.
See, Rambo, he knows.
Well,
But
30 years later.
But Lot was no power. So then Chava asked Abam Kasha, in this week's Parsha, Sarah is taken captive again by Arafat. Avimelech, the king of the Plishtim.
Right.
And that's in Eretz Yisrael. How do we know that Gror is in Eretz Yisrael? It says, Vayesha Yitzchak beGror. And God says, Yitzchak, you can't leave Eretz Yisrael. So Yitzchak lived in Gror. So we see Gror is what? Eretz Yisrael. And where was Sarah taken captive a second time? In Gror. So where's his Rambo status? That's what his wife asked.
Right.
That's not a good sign.
You heard this guy? The guy went to a doctor. An old sick guy. The doctor examined and said, I have bad news for you. You only have 6 months to live. Then he gives him the bill. So the old guy looks at the bill and says, Doc, I cannot pay this bill in 6 months. So the doctor says, okay, I'll give you 18 months. Don't you get it? He said he has 6 months to live. Can't pay the bill. So okay, I'll give you 18 months.
12 months. I'll give you 12 months.
The psychiatrist said I was crazy. I
Right.
said, if you don't mind, I'd like a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly, too.
I think that's Roger Dangerfield.
Yeah,
What is your name, sir? No, thank you. Gershon? Yoshua.
Popular name.
I will say,
His name was Hosea. Where did the Yud come from?
Moshe.
Sarai. God took the Yud from Sarai and he gave it to Yehoshua. Because before that he was called Hosea. You didn't know that.
where'd you get it?
Still good. Still good, but it's just better.
What do you do with her hay?
Need God's something.
Yehoshua.
God's the same thing.
Hamza.
Maybe put that. I'm gonna add that name. I don't want to be left out over here.
Now I have a question, a very serious question. It comes to Sodom, Abraham pleads, he storms heaven. How dare you kill the righteous with the wicked? How could you do that? Yeah, but it comes to his own son Yitzchak, he doesn't say a word. Who's more righteous than Yitzchak? Look what he pleads for the low-life Sodomites. Look what he says for them. In this week's Parshah, you sure you have a book? Want to take a look? Can you pass someone? This week's Parshah, look what he says. Page 49, you sure? You want to read page 49, Chof Hey. Page 49, Chof Hey. Aaron, here. You sure? You want to read that? Page 4, your page is right here. See my finger? Look. You want to read it? Page 49. 49. Chof Hey. Cholila Lacha. It will be sacrilege for you. Masois kadover hazeh. Lohamitz tzadikim rasha. How dare you kill the righteous with the wicked? V'hoya katzadik rasha. The tzaddik should perish with the rasha chalilalach. Hashoifet ka'or tzayasa mishpat. Shall the judge of the entire earth not do justice? But that's exactly what he should have said when God said kill Yitzchak. When it comes to Yitzchak, he doesn't say boo.
How does he change it? Halal L'cha to halal lach.
So we see that l'cha
No, there must be a conversation.
into chlila l'cha. I'll tell you because God is feminine.
No, it's not. The answer.
I think that is the answer. Chlila l'cha, chulin, kachos ador hamabel. Right?
He didn't do the sin.
He did. Millions of babies were destroyed. Who's more righteous than a baby? Right?
We know that
Who's more righteous than a baby?
is
Right?
going to become a Rosha, like Micha.
Yeah.
You better kill him before.
What? Does that make sense to you?
It was with Micha, no? The guy in
That's
Egypt.
why Moshe saved him. But anyway, why doesn't he make this argument, Yeshua, for his own son Yitzchak? Shmuel, you get that question? He pleads for the low-life sodomites, Rav Shmuel. But for his own son, he doesn't say it makes sense to you. Hashefet calls, yeah. L'olamis tzadikim rasha. Who's a bigger tzaddik than Yitzchak Avinu? And yet for Yitzchak, he doesn't say anything.
Well, what? What would we have to Yitzhak? Oh, about being...
If he davens for Sodom, why doesn't he daven for his own?
Because he knew that Yitzhak was really inside, deep inside somewhere. He had a very strong feeling that he wasn't really going to kill Yitzhak.
Then there's no test then.
There is
Then it's a fake. If you knew he's not going to kill him, then what's the test?
He thought maybe that he would be revived. I don't know. Maybe he thought
So
that
what kind of test is it?
kill him and then make him come back. So what's the test?
So where's the test?
He has to kill his own son. It's not very easy.
But you're saying that he knew from the get-go it's not going to happen.
Somehow or another, they would. I don't know. Like in
for
TV
others,
shows.
not for yourself.
Like,
Doesn't make any
the guys
sense.
who get
Chayecha
in
koidman.
He's the main guy. He always
Chayecha koidman, chayecha vercha.
How do they like Jack
Doesn't
Bauer?
your life come?
Guy jumped
How come he didn't
7
plead
times.
for Yitzchak's life like he pleaded for Sodom?
It was a command by God.
What happened to
Yeah.
In which case?
God said, take his son and kill him.
Died.
Doesn't say anything. He
Superman
doesn't.
died.
God says, I'll kill sodomites, and he pleads for them. They'll plead that he made for the sodomites. He should have pleaded for Yitzchak also. No?
They are.
Chalil al-Cha, Lahomis tzadikim rasha. Who's a bigger tzadik than Yitzchak Avinu?
They found him, he was taking a shower.
Is it Kashi here?
I don't even know how that happened. Go to watch it.
Hmm?
They make a big They make it
Yeah, it was a
They make
command.
it-
He was not a command.
Okay, so
Because
that's,
it's
that's the answer.
what did he say?
He answered, by the Akedah, God gave him a command. I'm not asking your input. I'm giving you a command. Over here, you want to nuke Sodom, what are you telling me for? It's not my business.
It's like
Obviously, you want my opinion, I'll tell you I don't think it's right. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Hear it around. By the Akedah, God wasn't asking his opinion. I'm giving you a command. Here, it's not a command to him. Beautiful. It's not a command to him. You're not telling me. Why are you telling me about it? You don't need my permission to nuke them. Elamah, you want my input. I'll tell you, I don't think it's right. That's the main difference, huh?
But
Yeah,
when people make the comparison, Noah and Avram,
yeah.
also there it was a command.
What do you mean?
Build the
Build the ark, so he did it. He did build
But
the ark.
he didn't plead.
He didn't plead for the people. Right? You should have said, don't just save me. What about the others? He didn't say that. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the answer. The Kedah was a command. Here's not a command. God's not commanding him anything. Look how he bargains here with God. He bargains with him. Jews are the great bargainers, right? Huh?
The first bargainer.
The first bargain, that's the Jews that make bargains, right, Yehuda? Page 49, Pasuk Chafei, Chalila L'cha. You see Rashi? Chalila L'cha. What does he want? 49 Chafei, Chalila Lecha. David, you have it?
Yeah.
Vim Taimar, Lo Yatzilu HaTzadikim Es Rishayim. Okay. Tzadikim can't save the Rishayim. Lama Tamas HaTzadikim. Why do you have to kill the righteous for? Let at least spare the righteous. See Rashi Chafei? At least spare the righteous. What does he mean? Look at footnote Gimel. You would be better off here. Learn Hebrew. Footnote Gimel. Ritzayin Eloima. What does he want? But have it. That footnote Gimel, David. The matchila hitpalos gena tzadikim al yishayim. In the beginning, he davened that the merit of the tzadikim should not protect only them, but also what? Shoyim as well. But then, Omar Gamin lo yigenu al yishayim. Okay, their merit is not strong enough to protect what? The wicked. Chalil lecha. Then at least spare what? The righteous. It's called bargaining, right? At least spare the righteous. Look at the next Rashi. Chalil lecha. What does Chalil lecha mean? Chulin hu. I think they say sacrilege. What do they say? Verse 25. What?
Yeah.
We sacrilege. What does that mean? Sacrilege.
For the world, we say for the world to come.
No, but the text. What does Chalil lecha mean?
They just sacrileges, as you said.
Sacrilege. Chulin. People will say that's how God operates. He kills the righteous with the wicked. That's what he did to the Dar HaMabul. Who's more righteous than a baby? How many babies, millions of babies, got washed away in the flood? Is that right? So if Abraham is saying, if I was there, I wouldn't let you do it. Kach the Dar HaMabul. Isn't it amazing what Rashi is saying? If Abraham was around at the flood, he wouldn't have let God do it. You're listening to me? Unlike Noah.
You didn't want to say anything in Auschwitz?
So that,
Any big rabbi said anything?
what?
Khalil Alecha.
Khalil, how can you do that? Right?
An excellent question.
Now, why is it written Chalila twice? Did it say sacrilege twice in the text 25?
Yeah.
Twice, sacrilege. It's a difficult Rashi error, and I don't understand what Rashi says. What does Rashi say, Lo'ilam Haba? One sacrilege for this world, and the other sacrilege for the...
That's not Rashi, it's...
yeah, Rashi's Olam Haba.
Techadaka Yashin says, the repetition of Lahoach indicates that sacrilege will extend into a spiritual dimension.
What does that mean?
Eternally for the world to come, Rashi means for future generations.
Future generations?
Setting a precedent.
Yeah, Olam Haba doesn't mean future generation. Olam Haba means the afterlife. How did it translate to Rashi there? The Chalila Lecha, Olam Haba. Olam Haba.
It would be sacrilege for you for the world to come.
The world to come. So that's not the future generations.
But I took read to the note from Techana Yashin. Alternately, by for the world to come, Rashi means for future generations.
But that's not what Rashi means. Don't put words in Rashi's
No,
mouth.
this guy didn't.
Olam Haba means life after death.
Here, the Sifra says.
Here he says,
because
because Adam won't have Olam Haba. So that's what he says. God, you're giving them a double whammy. You're nuking them here, and you're shutting them out from Olam Haba. Sanhedrin 107, Yehuda. Rashi says, you're giving them a double whammy. You're destroying them in this world, and the Mishnah Sanhedrin says they don't have life after life either. Is that fair? To destroy them in both worlds, God? Is that fair? That's what Rashi means.
What about the children?
So who's more righteous than a tzaddik? Anshe Sedom, ein lem chelik b'olam haba. So my chiddush is there was no children there because they're homos. I don't know, that was my chiddush.
It's not a bad thing.
Right?
But you know there were a lot of children.
Well, they weren't, they're homos. The homos have no kids. They had no adoption then.
Adoption.
What?
The city would have been
In those days they didn't have those.
But they had plenty of children. They brought them from somebody else, and they were around. And they weren't all homos. But it was a big city.
It becomes to a certain level where that if it becomes where they're going to be procreating, where it's a good thing, then they won't do it.
Yeah.
Well, they went their ACDC. They had wives too, and they had children.
Yes.
And that's
No, they were-
like in Rome.
As a matter of
Like in
fact,
Rome.
Lot
We have a text.
Lot
That's for the
his
time.
wife and children.
Yeah.
Lot.
How do you separate the men from the boys in Rome?
Carefully.
With a crowbar.
Careful. Har, but anyway. He really talks like we would say chutzpah, no? And God gives in. He bargains all the way down to 10. How come he stops by 10? Rachmiel, page 50. Why does he stop by 10? On page 50, Pasuk Lamed Bet. Aaron, want to read that? 50 Lamed Bet on top, by Yoimer.
Anna,
Yeah.
Yachar Ladonai, Vada Bera,
Achapam, only one more time.
Ahapa, Ulai,
Yimotzu Sham Asara.
Sham Asara, Vayomer Lo, Ashit, Babur, Asara.
Can you read that 32 in English?
So he said, let not my Lord be annoyed, and I'll speak but this once.
One more time.
Perhaps 10 will be found there, and he said, I will not destroy the count of the 10.
Is the he capitalized?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Capital H.
10.
Because the boss is talking.
Right.
So Rashi wonders why he stopped bargaining at 10. So look at Rashi Lamed Bet. Ula Yamotzu Sham Asara. Aaron, how come he didn't go lower than 10?
על פחות לא ביקש,
Why?
דור המבול היו 8.
Because Doramabel had 8 righteous people. Who are the 8 righteous people?
8,
Noach,
בניו,
And Nishaim. And that didn't help. What about 9? Al Tisha, Yedei Tziruf Kvar Bikesh Alemot. For 9 already he davened. How do we know? Look at Vav. Rashi knew how to multiply. See your footnote Vav. Ki Bikesh Alaboim Bachamisha. Because he bargained for 45. 9 times 5. How many cities were there, Yehuda? 5. So 9 times Rashi knew how to multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. So therefore, that didn't work. So he didn't go below 10 or 9. It'd be useless. So God gave in all the way until 10. And in the end, there wasn't even one righteous man there except Lot. There was one guy there.
Well, I argues that it was a precedent that he needed 10 for the flood. Why does
For the
that-
flood.
Yeah, but what
Because if the flood had 8, then it didn't help.
I understand.
So he made a,
That's what
he
they
logic.
made the calculation.
Right.
That there was a precedent.
It would be useless.
But I question that. Why the guy could do this time, do it for 2 or 1?
ever.
Huh?
Where was ever?
Abel wasn't born yet. It was Shem, Chem, Yafes, and the 3 wives, and Noach and him. There's 8, and that didn't do the trick. So
Here, Shem got Shem ever around 2 plus Lot. So
well, yeah, but they didn't live in Sodom. They didn't live. It was an amazing Rashi later on that Lot was able to accomplish what Abraham wasn't. Fasten your seatbelts on this one. This is a kasha for Bomland. Are you listening to me? Lot was able to accomplish what Abraham couldn't. What do I mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do I mean? What do I mean? What I mean? Page 53. So the Malach says, run for the hills, right? Page 52, Kaf. No, actually, 52, Yutet. Hine no motza adochein beinecha. Your chesed is great that you do with me to keep me alive. I'm not able to run to the hills. I can't make it. I don't have the koach. I didn't take my spirulina, and the evil will overtake and it will kill me. I can't run that far or that fast. You hear? That's what he said, right? Pasuk Yutet. So what is he requesting from the Malach? What's he requesting? Pasuk Kaf. Aaron, page 52 Kaf. What's he requesting?
Neina ha'ir hazot kurava the nos shema
Vihi mitzar. Himlata no. Please let me shelter there. The Nafshi. What is he saying? He's begging the Malach what?
He wants to go to the small town.
A small town called Mitzar. I can't make it to the hills. You hear? It's a small town, and the toilet didn't run over yet, he says. So look what the Malach says to him in Pasuk Chav Aleph, page 53. Vayomer Elov. Is it a capital H or not in 21?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Yes.
He said to him,
Yes.
who's the he? The Malach of God. But the Malach is speaking.
This is the Malach.
Vayomer Elov.
He delegated the Malach. What's the problem?
How do they translate verse 21?
And he replied to him with a capital H.
No, he replied.
And he replied to him with a capital H, the small h for him, Behold, I have granted you consideration for this thing, too, that I will not overturn the city about which you have spoken.
So Rashi makes an amazing comment.
How could
Look at Rashi Chaf Aleph. Gam l'dover hazeh. You see that? You with me, Yehuda?
Yeah,
Loi dayecho she'ato nitzol. It's not enough that you and your family will save. El af kol ha'ir atzil beglalcha. The whole city of Tzoar will be what? Saved because of you. What Abraham was not able to accomplish, Lot was. Aaron, you had a question here? It's a bigger tzaddik than his uncle.
But it's also against what we just learned. You need 8 was not enough. And he just got 1.
Yeah.
So he saves the whole city for 1 guy.
So-
Abraham should have argued for 1.
So why is Mitzoar different? So Rashi says why it's different. Rashi
8
says
wasn't
why
enough
it's different.
to save-
Here's only one. Here, Lot was only one
8
guy.
is not enough.
And the whole city was saved. Why is Tzoar different? So Rashi says, look at the bottom Rashi, V'loi mitzar he. Their sins are very few. So you can leave them alone, says the
He
Malach.
says because it's a newer city.
It's Ir Ktana. It's a small city and few people.
But it's new. They haven't been around long.
It hasn't been around a long time.
That's-
So no gay bars. Not. Hmm?
so it was official 36, not 40.
The sins are few. The people are few. So therefore,
Wife and
it's
children.
therefore it's
4 times 9 is 36, so not 40 nor 50, but 36.
so Rashi says the Malach said, "You, because of you, I will save the whole city." First of all, what right does he have to change the program? If God told him to nuke that city as well, does he have autonomy? What's it called, autonomy? Or,
On earth, yes, correct.
looks like right. While they're human, they can improvise. You see that? That's what it looks like.
As a matter of fact, it was God in Mitzrayim,
Yeah.
not the angel
What do you
who
mean?
killed.
God himself, right? He gave the Malach HaMovos the night off. It was amazing Rashi here over. You get pointed out to the guys that you go learn with that Lot was able to accomplish what Uncle Abraham couldn't. Rashi 21. Not enough that you're getting me saved, but I'll save the whole city just in your merit. Yiddish Aaron. You with me on this?
But it's not.
Rachmiel, you with me on this?
I don't think the point is to save the town because of his marriage.
That's what Rashi
I
says.
think it is to save the
Read
town
Rashi.
because of him being.
I'm saving the whole city,
big
Biglolcha. Rashi says, in your merit. So the question is, why didn't he hang out there? He got a promise that the Malach ain't going to nuke the city. Right, Yehuda?
Yes.
So take a look. 53 Lamed. 53 Lamed. Aaron, can you read that?
Vayera Mitzor.
Lot left the city of Tzoar, Vayeshe Bahar. He left and he hid out in a cave. But he got them, didn't he trust the Yehuda? Didn't he trust the Malach's promise?
God, no.
That he's not going to nuke the city, so why did he have to leave the city of Tzoar? Lot left Tzoar and he went to hide out in a cave. He was afraid to live in Tzoar, right? Why was he afraid?
Yeah, good question.
Rashi wonders. So it's a strange Rashi. I don't. The Ramban explains Rashi incredibly, but look at Rashi Lamed. David, page 54
I was
Lamed.
worried about earthquakes.
Because it was close to Sodom. So what? The Malach promised him that you're going to be safe. So the Ramban says something amazing. You're sitting down. The Ramban, written in 1265, he says that Sodom was a nuked. He says the mushroom cloud. You read the Ramban, you will stand up. Avram saw a mushroom
I
cloud.
don't think
Rabbi.
that's gonna be happening.
He was afraid of the radiation fallout. The Malach said, I won't destroy the city, but didn't say
But
nothing
I'm sure.
about the fallout. Look at the Ramban, your hair will stand up. He was afraid of the nuclear fallout from the blast. And therefore he left and hid out in a cave to protect him from the radiation.
So that's
Are you
what-
getting this? How Nachmanides noticed in
That's
1265.
nuclear waste? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's what
Yeah,
Rabbi
you bring a
said.
Geiger counter there, it goes crazy there. It's radioactivity from the
I'm just
nuclear
joking right
blast.
now, but you're being serious.
I'm serious. It was a nuclear blast.
Yeah, that's why, yeah, God uses science.
Abraham saw the mushroom cloud. Later on, it says that. Look, if
What's the problem?
We should find
God uses
something
science.
of the kind that
Can
the
you
next-
use a nuclear bomb to nuke them? What's the problem?
Okay. Like an explosion.
that's why he was afraid to hang out, because it was close to Sodom.
He says a note here that he was afraid that the influence of Sodom would come into it, not that the radiation would come in.
Okay, that's Ramban. The influence. But the Malach gave him a promise.
It'll become just as
And isn't a promise for good never canceled? So what? The Malach said, I won't destroy the city. A nevuah for Toiv can't be canceled. You get my question?
And I don't like the fact that you say he didn't promise radiation. Obviously, if he promised them we could go there, it had to be.
He said, I won't
safe
destroy it.
Right.
I'm not going to destroy it, but what happens later on?
What do you think it's Jack? What's the guy who used to get 99 the telephone shoe? You know, what was the guy who H99?
Parshah, never believe it.
Talking the telephone on his shoe.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Remember-
Don Adams.
Don
Don
Adams.
Adams.
He was Jewish.
So,
The name of the organization was Chaos.
Don Adams.
Yeah.
So we got to worry about what the angel says. He's gonna. I won't destroy, but I'll let the radiation go.
Maxwell Smart, that was
Maxwell Smart.
Right.
after the Chernobyl meltdown. I heard a joke. You know how you make chicken Kiev? You have to preheat the oven at 8,000 degrees.
You have to pre what?
Preheat the oven.
Preheat.
8,000.
After the meltdown at Chernobyl.
Sure not.
Joking about that, how to make chicken
Chicken
Kiev.
Kiev.
Okay. I know.
So Yeshua, how come he didn't plead for his own son like he pled for the Sodom?
I don't know. Yes.
Yeah. You hear the question?
Um,
He pleads for Sodom, but not for his own righteous son Yitzchak.
I heard once that the Rosh Yeshiva felt closer to his students than he did to his own children. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe he just had more mercy on Sodom than his own son. Maybe he felt
But,
like Sodom
but
needed him.
why? He's saying very good, Yeshua. Why do he care about these low-life Sodomites? Right before last week, he saved these people. He risked his life to free them from captivity. When you do a chesed for somebody, you have a strong bond with him. So he felt responsible for them. Yeshua, very good what you're saying. These people were freed from captivity of a dungeon by Abraham. So he felt responsible for them. He saved their lives. Now you want to destroy them? Yeshua, very good what you're saying. He felt, what's the word, a kinship. When you do a chesed for somebody, you bond with him. But that doesn't explain why he doesn't also daven for his own son. That explains why he davened for them. But it doesn't explain why he didn't daven also for his own son. So he said, Yeshua, for his own son, God commanded him. Do it. I'm not asking you any question. Here, God didn't command him anything. You want to nuke Sodom, you need my permission? You want my input? I'll tell you what I think. By the Akedah, God was not asking for input, it was a command. Here, there was no command. Abraham says, you need my permission to destroy the city? I don't think it's right. God is not commanding him in anything by Sodom. That's the difference. Get it?
But God foresaw it, right? I mean, obviously God knew that he was going to plead for their
For Sodom?
yeah, he was going to pray for them. So maybe, I mean, in a sense, every action is a command, because God's foreseen all of them. So it's like,
No, by Sodom there was no command.
yeah, but it's like,
I want your opinion, Abraham. Should I nuke these guys or not? By the Akedah, there was no opinion. Just do it. I'm not asking your opinion. Just do it. Well, you have another kasha. We know that Elokim is Midas Hadin, right? And Yud Kei Vav Kei Zerachim. When God punishes, it's always written Elokim. And Lavi Davi is Yud Kei Vav Kei. So we have a question here, Yeshua. Please look at page 53. Page 53, Pasuk Chav Daled. You with me?
what is it? What
Page 53, right here. Look at my finger. See 53?
is this the same book?
Yes, the same
Same
book.
book, it's the same
Page 53, Pasuk Chav Daled. You tell me what's problem with the Pasuk. 53 Chav Daled. Take it away, Yeshua. We're all ears, okay? Chav Daled, 53.
I got it.
Vashem.
Vashem, Kintir, Al Sidon, the Amora,
Gofris.
Shafrit, the Eish, Me'et Hashem, Min HaShemayim.
God nuked the city with sulfur and what? And brimstone. And again, God. It's written Yud Kei Vav Kei twice. Yud Kei Vav Kei is Midas Harachamim. It should have said what? Elokim nuked the city. Help! Aaron, you hear the question on the table, Aaron? Not once, but twice does it use lovey-dovey. What kind of lovey-dovey when you're nuking the city? Yehuda, can you ask the big guns when you go on Monday? I mean on Thursday. Hashem himtir, twice, Me'es Hashem. Does Rashi deal with it? Rashi deals with it, but I don't think he answered it. Chav Daled. What does Rashi say? Chav Daled, Yeshua. 24, what? Hashem himtir.
Further on.
Kol makam shenemar Hashem ubez dinoi. What is so what? God and his bezdins. How does that help me?
Oh, Va.
Va Hashem.
Mayat Hashem. From
Va.
Hashem. It is the way of verses to speak in this manner, no. That the slaves are
24. God and his bezdin. So what?
Usually means the Shekinah, and the Shekinah is
But it should say Elokim. We have a cloud. When God punishes, it says Elokim. Yud Kei Vav Kei is Racham, Yeshua. You hear the question I'm asking?
Yeah. Why, how is mercy?
How is mercy? Hello? Mercy.
No, because like it says that it says in Tanakh, it says, like God's thoughts are not our thoughts, His ways are not our ways, right? So in our eyes, obviously, it doesn't look like mercy, but in His eyes, it's mercy. So the name, the differential between the names is actually from His perspective in this case.
We have a cloud. Whenever God punishes, it says Elokim. The question is, why did it say Hashem over here? What kind of mercy is it? You're on the right track. The Mishnah Sanhedrin says, David Goodman at the end of Sanhedrin, when God punishes the wicked, it's an act of mercy for them as well. It puts them out of their misery. They can't do wickedness no more. It's an act of mercy for the world. You can't suffer from ISIS and ice cream no more. And ISIS can't. So when you took out the al-Baghdadi, it was an act of mercy. It was a mercy for the world and mercy for him himself. He can't be no more wickedness on himself.
If a criminal is executed
Yeah.
here on the earth,
Right.
no longer there, that means that he doesn't get punished no longer above.
That's right.
No, he goes immediately to Olam Haba.
It depends. Of a Jewish criminal, it depends.
We
A Jewish
learn
criminal
also-
gets
A
confesses.
Jew goes immediately
A Jewish
to
criminal,
Olam Haba.
before they execute him, they make him confess. Because then he gets Olam Haba.
We
A
learned
Jewish
the-
criminal.
We learned the other day, remember, was if somebody kills himself, for
But is there is
example,
no...
by driving drunk and killing himself, even though he dies, he doesn't get a kapora because he also pleads for his mercy as well. So we learned, so it depends on the circumstances. If sometimes the death is a kapora.
A Jewish
not
criminal
always.
confesses before he's executed. He says, "May my death
There is
be a
no
kapara."
execution
What?
in Israel. There is no execution in Israel.
We're talking about ancient Israel. When they executed a criminal, he had to confess because his death was his kapara.
Biblical times.
Can you do what we did with Atman, with the ashes in the sea
What do you mean, to burn up the body?
for the goy.
Oh, so the Machlokes Rashi and the
So
Ramban,
we
David
decided that
Goodman.
we have to also goy.
Here you have a major Machlokes. Rashi holds, is it one of the 7 Noachide laws to bury a goy in the ground?
No.
Last time I checked, David, it wasn't on the list. But Nachmanides claims that even though there's no mitzvah for a goy to be buried in the ground,
For a Jew
we
to bury a
have a
goy.
mitzvah to bury a goy in the ground. That's Nachmanides' chiddush. It ain't one of the 7, so a goy can cremate himself, but a Jew has a mitzvah to bury a goy in the ground. That's Nachmanides' chiddush against Rashi. Rashi said, what kind of mitzvah we have?
So it was wrong with Eichmann.
Why was it wrong?
The ashes were.
Why is it wrong? He's a goy.
We killed him.
Well, he deserves to be killed. According to Rashi, there's no mitzvah to bury a dead
For
goy.
us, it's a compulsory to bury him.
That's Ramban's opinion. Rashi disagrees.
Also, like logistically, like how many bodies would they be buried?
What do you mean?
Are we talking about like all of the bodies left over from this?
About Sodom, there was nobody left to bury. They disintegrated. Like Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You sure remember your Hiroshima?
What
There was nobody left to bury.
What about Belarus?
They disintegrated.
What are we talking about when we're talking about burying corpses? How is this like?
That's a
No,
separate
no, separate talk.
separate subject.
You have a separate subject, not to do with this.
In Hiroshima, everything
There was
disappeared.
there's nobody left to bury. They disintegrated. What's it called?
Yes.
Vaporized.
Yes.
Read the account. It's called vaporized.
What about Belarus?
Look, it was vaporized.
Buildings were vaporized and the
People just vaporized.
Just like even in the
Hiroshima.
in Hiroshima, they dropped the bomb.
Nagasaki. They vaporized.
Not all of them, but a lot of them disappeared because the buildings, all the matter disappeared. What happens when you drop a bomb?
Well, the Tanakh here. Chaval.
What do you want? I have it on the phone.
Zechariah 14.
I have it on the phone.
We read the Haftorah. You got a Tanakh here?
I have it right here.
No, it doesn't see.
14?
Zechariah 14. We read it on Sukkot. Why? Because Rav Hai Gaon says that Mechenes Gog and Magog will take place on Sukkot. He describes a nuclear blast there. Zechariah 14 describes a nuclear blast at the end of time. The final war of Gog and Magog.
Tehran.
Says the bodies will vaporize. Their eyes will melt in their sockets. Amazing, Zechariah 14. We read that on the Sukkot.
So there won't be any bodies to clean up.
Hmm?
But then it says, we had a discussion earlier, it says that some people are going to be like buried in the land.
That's Mechenes Gog and Magog. Not everybody will be vaporized, but some of them will. That's the Ramban's Raya, Yeshua, against Rashi. Ezekiel tells us at the end of time, we will be burying the dead terrorists. So from here you see there's a mitzvah for a guy, for a yid to bury a dead guy. Otherwise, why does Yechezkel say that at the end of time, after the war of Gog and Magog, the Jewish people will bury their enemies? Why waste their time? Just throw them in a garbage dump. We're in luck. We're in luck. This is Zechariah 14, Yeshua.
4:14, I got it.
Zechariah 14, 1 second.
14:12 says they'll smite away.
Don't rush me.
Smashes away.
We read
Their
this
eyes
on
waste away.
we read this on Sukkot because Sukkot is supposed to be the time when the final war of all wars.
14, I think it's 14:12.
1 second.
It's 14:12.
14:12. 14:12. This will be the Mageifa. How do you translate that in English? 14:12.
And this shall be the plague wherein
Go ahead.
wherewith the Lord will smite all the nations who besiege Jerusalem. His flesh will waste away while he still stands on his feet. His eyes will waste away in their sockets, and his tongue shall waste away in his mouth.
It says melt.
Ramay.
I'm melting. Remember the Wicked Witch of the West? I'm melting.
We should encourage.
It's like a nuclear war.
We should encourage Tehran to build a nuclear weapon.
The Zohar says that Gog and Magog will be poras keneged Israel. How did the Zohar know this? They're asking for it.
And
Every day they threaten Israel. This is it. They're going to waste away.
We should do it first before they go.
Right? There's amazing prophecy here. The body will melt. That's nuclear, whatever, poisoning or radiation or the blast. A blast from the past. 1412.
Towards the end of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. When they
But
opened
this
the
is
Ark,
all supposed to be in the
the
war
German
of
guys
Jerusalem,
faced
right?
Right.
It's not referring to World War II at all.
It's World War III.
Can we make an argument that it was World War II? Is there any way that we can say it already happened?
Here. I think the Babich Rebbe
You
says
can make
that.
an argument for anything you want.
The Babich Rebbe says what you're saying.
That was prophecy.
Zeh Nipol Aveirim. The Babich Rebbe said it was World War II.
You could
Zeh Nipol Aveirim. Wow. The limbs will just disintegrate.
according to the
Rashi says, Yehuda, the limbs will disintegrate. What is that?
Were there any significant dates of World War II that were on Sukkot?
No.
Dates in World War II.
They dropped the bomb, it was August, wasn't it? Nagasaki, Hiroshima was in August. You know?
it was warm anyhow.
Like Hawaii? Like that's where wickedness is? Like as opposed to like... Wouldn't it
I
have
watch
been
some
to
of
be
these end times
Germany?
movies, and I say, look, that will happen.
They didn't drop the bomb. Germany had already surrendered. So that's why they dropped the bomb. Japan was still holding out.
I mean, if they wanted to nuke...
Yeah, they should have nuked Germany, right?
I think it was
Right.
actually, it was, I think it was in October when Japan surrendered.
They didn't have the bomb yet, they had just finished trying it out. They could have done it.
And they surrendered already, right? Germany surrendered already.
They destroyed
wants
Dresden.
to help Germany.
Dresden of firebombing, that wasn't nuclear, that was regular bombs.
They really destroyed it anyway, but. not-
Dresden, right, firebombing.
We're trying to build a master race, and Japan is going to go and help them. Japanese people.
It's difficult to know why they worked together. They didn't have a strong connection.
You know the story with the Ogasaki, what's his name? The Japanese Schindler, the OU showed it. Horasagi, Gogasagi?
Yeah, I remember.
September 2nd, 1945, when the Japanese surrendered.
Well, they must have dropped the bomb in August.
They dropped the bomb in August, didn't they?
Yeah, because they dropped the first bomb, and they said they definitely surrendered, so they dropped the next one the next day.
I think we'll surrender.
September 19th.
And the United States was playing a card on that, because they only had 2 bombs.
Really?
Yeah.
September,
That's what I
four-
understand. It's-
September 42.
45.
45.
No, because it said 42. I couldn't
No,
understand.
no,
September 2nd,
September 2nd.
1942. 45.
45.
Oh, you said 42. That's, I couldn't understand.
The atomic bombs were August 6th, 1945.
Sixth, the first one?
The first one?
I think it
Atomic
makes-
bombings of, I've done this for the first one.
Wow. Ibn Ezra also seems to describe it vaporized. How do you know about that? The Ibn Ezra lived in the 1000s. Amazing. Pretty amazing, huh?
There are acids
Acids, yeah.
that can disintegrate.
Yeah, but in days of Zachariah didn't have that. What?
Well, God put the first nuclear bomb here in Saddam, so they had.
Yeah.
Just didn't know yet. Just before they discovered Mount Everest.
And Hadash
Yeah, the old
Tachat
joke.
Shemesh.
Well, before they discovered Mount Everest, what was the highest mountain?
Hardy, har.
Still Mount Everest was that discovered.
Mhm.
They had always had nuclear bombs, we just didn't know how to do it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
So here's an example of how we got it.
The strange Rashi over here, they thought that the whole world is destroyed and only they survived.
That's why Lot,
Didn't they think they're more righteous than Uncle Abraham?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? They thought the whole world was
Right.
destroyed.
Right.
Didn't they know that Uncle Abraham lived somewhere?
No,
They didn't know about Uncle Abraham?
They didn't have an SMS.
They never met Uncle Abraham? What? They thought that their father was more righteous than Abraham.
They didn't know that. Who says they knew how to connect to God?
Well, they were his nieces,
But they-
great nieces.
Maybe they're born afterwards.
All right, how great were they? They said Avinu Zaken. See page 54, Pasuk Lamed Aleph. You see that, Aaron? The older daughter said to the younger one, Rachmiel, 54 Lamed Aleph. Avinu Zaken,
It's like Avraham.
V'ishein ba'aretz lo ve'alein geder kol haaretz. There's no one on the earth to come to us. Like, look at Rashi, Avinu Zaken. You see that, Yehuda? Lamed Aleph Rashi, on 54. Avinu Zaken. Vim loy achshav emotai. What does that mean? What does that mean, Aaron? It's not now when. Shema Yomut, maybe he'll die, or he'll become impotent. Look at the next Rashi, Yehuda. V'ishein ba'aretz. Take a look. V'ishein ba'aretz. You see that, Aaron, next Rashi? 54, right column. Suvuroi Soya, they thought, Shekol Olam Nechrab. Yeshua, they thought that the entire world was what? Destroyed. Kamol Dor Hamabel. Because God promised He won't flood the world. He never promised He won't firebomb the world. You hear this, Yeshua? God promised He won't flood the world. So they thought that He might destroy the world by fire. So they thought there's no one around. You hear this? And therefore...
Is this the same phrase Moshe uses?
What do you mean?
The Ish and Baaretz, when he killed the Egyptian.
No, it says Vayar ki Einish.
King Ish.
Vayar ki Einish. Right? So where did they get wine in the caves? Where did they find wine to get the father drunk? So Rashi said, look at Rashi Lamed Gimel, Vatashkena, Lamed Gimel. You see that, Yeshua, Vatashkena? Where did they get wine in the caves? Says Rashi, Yayin is Damalahem Amara. God made it happen that some Bedouin forgot their jug of wine in the cave. Lahoitzi mehen shtei umois. You hear this?
Set up. Also, this is set up.
God made it that they used to hide it there in the caves, and He forgot to come back. This way, two nations could be born. Because if Lot was sober, he would never do this.
Which version?
Lamed Gimel, 33.
Where is Lot's wife? Lot's wife.
She became a pillar of salt, right? Huh?
No, that's Noah.
What are you
What are you
mixing?
talking-
Kasha
mixing
Barnes?
with Noah. Noah, talking Lottie here.
Yayin is dame lahem b'mara. Lahoitzi mehen shtei umois. So there are no accidents that the Bedouin forgot his wine jugs in this cave. Just the same cave that the girls came. Coinky dinky? And no coinky dinky. Right? These two nations had to be born. Ammon and Moab had to be
It's a
born.
miracle, wow. That's a very interesting.
Right? So one called the child Moab, and the other called the child Ammon. Amman Jordan. Amman. Right? B'nai Ammon ad hayom hazeh. So the first called Moab. What does Moab mean?
Yeah.
From father. Look at Rashi Lamed Zayin. Yeshua, I have a Sprecher kasha on this Rashi. Yeshua, maybe you can help me. Page 54, Lamed Zayin, Moab. See that? Zu lohoite tznuah. This daughter was not modest. Pirsama. She bragged that she had relations and had a child from her own father. She was not tznuah. Avol tzira, but the younger daughter, she was more, what's the word, refined? Beloshen nikiya. How do you say that in English? Modest. Loshen nikiya. V'kibla schar b'mei Moshe, and therefore she called him Ben Ami. What does Ben Ami mean? Son of my people. And therefore, in the days of Moshe and Devarim too, but God says, B'nai Ammon, right, do not harass them at all. Moav, it's only warned not to go to war against them, but you're allowed to harass them. But Ammon, you're not even allowed to harass, because the daughter called him Ammon, which is a more refined language. But Moab, she was more brazen, not a tzenuah, and therefore we were commanded just not to go to war against Moab, but we are permitted to what? Harass them. So Yeshua, I have a question. Who does Mashiach come from? Moab! If she wasn't Tzenuah, why is the Mashiach come from Moab? Moab was the ancestor of whom? Ruth. Ruth the Moabite. And Ruth the Moabite was the grandmother of whom? King David. So if she's not a modest woman, she wasn't a tsunua, so why does Mashiach have to come from her? You hear the question? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. That's still from Yishai, right?
From who?
Yishai.
Who does Yishai come from?
I guess.
Who Yishai comes from?
I guess Ruth.
Ruth. Who does Ruth come from? Moab. Hello?
Yeah, but it wouldn't come from another Moab line, right?
This
It
is
would
the
come from
Mashiach comes directly from Moab.
line- Right, but it would still
So if
come-
she's immodest, why does she get rewarded that the Messiah comes from her? Hello? I'm all mixed up.
It's still coming from Yishai, right? That's still true.
Yishai comes from Moab.
Right.
Yishai is a grandson of Ruth. Who is Yishai? Check the Gilad Ruth. Boaz and Ruth had a child called Oved. Oved had a son called Yishai. Yishai had a son called David. Boaz married Ruth the Moabite. They had a child called Oved. Oved was the father of whom? Yishai. That means Mashiach comes directly from Ruth the Moabite.
Yeah, he brings them to why? Because they brought the Karbonis or something like that?
Who?
He said that
Balak.
Balak.
Matok Shalom Lishma, Baal
And
Lishma.
Eglon stood up.
Eglon and Balak.
Still
And
some other stuff.
so, but don't you think it's weird that the Mashiach should come from an act of incest? You don't think that's weird? The Ramban calls it Shochad L'Satan. How do you say that in English? Shochad L'Satan? Whatever that. Yeshua, it's a Kabbalistic term. You're not 40 yet, are you? You're not 40 yet, so...
I don't think he's
But
20.
you know,
I
like,
don't think he's 20.
weird things have happened. you
what
know?
does Shochad L'Satan mean in English?
He stole the birthright. He stole the
It all had to
birthright.
go, ooh, Yeshua, you're on a roll. If you look through the Bible, there's a lot of deception going on. There's a lot of deception going on.
I mean-
And there's something beneath the radar. Yaakov had to steal the brachas. And Yaakov's weird wedding. He was deceived. He deceived his father. And he was deceived on his wedding night. Don't you think that's weird? Yaakov's weird wedding. Get it? Yaakov, title for a good article. No? Yaakov's weird
You
wedding.
did it already.
I did?
Wait, so what's
Yaakov's weird wedding.
No, was modest.
There's an undercurrent here. The undercurrent is called Shochad L'Satan.
What is that?
How do you say that in English? It's Kabbalistic.
Bribe.
Bribery to the Satan. What does that mean? Nachmanides talks about it.
So that only, when we learn from
Bribery to
that,
Satan.
when you're
It's kind
getting
of
married,
superstition.
the
It
bride-
has to come to the back door. What?
when you're getting married, the bride comes up and her face is all covered, you have to demand to see her tahud to tahud.
The two that's a
Make sure you
hood.
know-
They get faked out like Rachel and Leah got faked, right?
See, if he had asked her for her TZ, she...
Should have asked him for a
As
TZ.
a matter of fact, you read the
The
ketubah.
Amsagula is from
That's
robbery.
too
The
late.
Shiach is from incest. What is...
Oh, that-
What's the message here? Yeshua, there's a message here somewhere over. There's a message in here.
That righteousness can come from
That
wickedness?
righteousness can come from wickedness, yes. The Apostle in Job, Mi yitain tohar mitame. God tells Isaiah, my ways are not your ways. My ways are not
If you
your
want to make
ways.
that message more specific, which direction would you go? Would you mean that, like, is that a message for doing Baal Tshuva? Is that a message for, like...
That's a message for Baal Tshuva. No matter what you've done or you come from, you can turn your life around and become great despite your evil past or because of it. That's the message. Not despite, because of your evil past, you can become great. If you haven't been there, you can't be here now. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't done that, you can't be here now. That's right. There's a kelim. It all ties in. Everybody sins.
But it's not-
You know, it's called Yerida L'Tzorech Aliyah. How do you say that in English, Yeshua? Yerida L'Tzorech Aliyah. Sometimes you have to go down deep in order to climb up higher and higher.
But it's not as simple as, like, righteousness can come from wickedness. It says that, like, very, like two of the most important parts of everything, of all of history, arguably, that are righteous, come from wickedness. It's not just as simple as, like, you can do it. It's like it's like woven into the very fabric of reality.
I should teach you, despite what we did in the past, or who we come from, we can still become great. And David HaMelech is a shining example. He comes from the act of incest, Moab.
I mean, the fact
And that didn't stop him. Keep it all in the family. Huh? You want to see Aaron today? Or are you busy? Rabbi Yaakov.
Okay.
You want to stop in and see Aaron? Aaron Bradshaw, Ger Tzedek. In the not Terry Bradshaw, Aaron Bradshaw. In the French hospital.
Oh my God.
By Kikasaki. He never has cancer.
That's a terrible place.
No, it's not. It's what he needed. It's a place of chesed.
A friend of mine died there.
No. It's a place where you go where you have no choice.
Yes.
Right?
One-way ticket.
And they do the best for their patients. It's a place full of chesed. We go there, we visit the people there, Yaakov and I. This righteous Gentile, righteous Ger Tzedek. He has cancer, so he's there.
When you are there, it's already at the end.
Yeah.
really that's the Shiva.
Thank you. Thank you, son.
But it's just like Shiva. It's basically, I think you're right. Where it's like obviously, like Baal Shiva is a message that you would.
No matter where you've been, you can still become great. That's the message.
But that's a message that you've heard before. So like, why is there another message? You know? Like,
Yeah, the Torah is GPS, God's personal system for the year 2019. Everybody sins and they figure that they can't become better. God says, no, look at Moab, look at David, look at Yaakov with all the dealings there, and yet he became the father of the Jewish people, despite all of his what? Mistakes. That real. The long and winding road, ta-ta, that we all have to travel with all the detours and all the twists and the turns to get to where we have to go. It can't go smooth. It can't go smooth.
So you said that Moab, that something happened that was immodesty, and that was incest. There was nothing other.
Well, she had sex with her own father. Ain't that incest?
Yeah, that's incest.
Well, and that's where Mashiach comes from.
Ruth had sex with her own father?
No, here, the Parshah of the week. Lot with his 2 daughters. And the baby was Moab. You're not reading. Page 54. Page 54.
Moab was a child of incest.
Right. And Moab is the ancestor of King David. Hello?
Because
Moab is a child of incest. Moab means from father.
Because Ruth
Moab means from father, and he is the ancestor of Ruth, who is the grandmother of whom?
You can
The
argue.
Mashiach. You getting this?
So Ruth is a Moabite. So basically, she's from incest. So he's
Right.
Got it.
And she's the grandmother of the Mashiach.
Got it.
You can argue that Solomon was from an improper relationship. I just call it an
Well, Shlomo
improper-
HaMelech
Yeah.
from David and Bathsheba, but she had a get.
She did, but
But still, it didn't look
it
kosher
was
there
an
either.
improper- it was
There has
improper.
to be all these twists and turns. She had a get. People didn't know she had a get. Right? David HaMelech and Bathsheba. And Shlomo HaMelech is the king. And he comes from David and Bathsheba. So again, you see all the detours there, all the twists and the turns. In this life, you can't go smooth. Don't you see, Yeshua? You have to have detours. You can't go smooth. It's not possible. That's the message of the Torah. Otherwise, why tell me this?
You know what I realized last night or the other day?
What?
The word Torah is really similar to the word Mora.
Torah means instruction,
Right. It's
Teaching.
The letter,
right?
it's the same.
Torah is instruction for life. The Torah is God's manual for living. That's what the Torah is, Iran. It's God's manual for living successfully.
Does that mean that the Shorish is Vav, Resh, Hey?
Torah,
Yeah.
Horah, which means instruction or teaching, right?
But Mora is that like...
Moreh also. Moreh means teacher,
Right.
right? Moreh, Torah, yeah, it's the same root, I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the same root. It's the Vav, Resh, Hey.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the root? Is it like?
I think it's Hey Resh, what? Hayra. Torah. Teaching. Hayra, I think, is the root, I think.
Torah is the root, so then Torah is the congregation.
I think so, yeah.
So if you have a, so then it's an imperative, it's a command. So you shall teach. Is that
Instruct.
what you shall instruct.
You shall instruct. The manual for life.
Whose water is that?
To life, l'chaim. L'chaim, to life.
I don't know what belongs.
Is it David's?
It might be. You listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
You knew Rabbi Chaim Alevi, we wanted to do that.
Maybe?
Remember you made me copies?
Oh, yes.
We didn't do Rabbi Chaim Alevi. What?
What about the
Who are we
You're not a harass guy.
Who are allowed to harass here? Moab, you can't go to war, but you're allowed to harass them. Ammon, since she called him with a delicate language, she disguised her relationship with her father by calling him what? Ben Ami. So therefore, the Torah in Deuteronomy 2 says that not only can't you go to war, you can't even harass them at all. But Moab, since she was brazen about it, so there it only says in Devarim 2, don't go to war against them, but you are permitted to harass them. Because she didn't cover up her incestuous relationship. She bragged about it. And yet that child was the ancestor of Mashiach. Gabriel, that's the paradox. That's the paradox. Mashiach has to come from deception and from incest. There's a message there. Mashiach is going to save all of humanity, not just the tzaddikim. So he has to know what it's like to come from what? A sinful background. Otherwise, how could he save all mankind? Mashiach will save the whole world, not just the tzaddikim. So he has to come from such a low background. Been there, done that. And if I can make it, you guys can make it despite your sinful past. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you down. You hear, Gabriel, the message? There's a tremendous message in life over here. Tremendous message. Don't be too hard on yourself. Are you getting this? Powerful message here. I'm going to go a little bit later today, so I want to stay here. So maybe I'll stop in later by him.
Okay.
Okay, my dear friends.